Hey, this is Dean and Josh from WiseBytes. What's up? How you doing, Josh?
I'm doing amazing.
What we're talking about is social media marketing failures and what tools to help avoid those failures. So there were 3 professors from the University of Waterloo, which is in Canada, and they decided to do a study on social media marketing failures because there's so much stuff out there about successes, what you can do to win and what you can do to that and how you can do that. So that's what they did. They focused on the things that were failures. And so what you and I are going to talk about is some of the software that will address or accommodate, eliminate, help you get past having to have those failures.
You told me this was about ABBA and Waterloo.
All right, you lost me. ABBA?
The band ABBA, the song Water. Okay, forget
it. I didn't. Can you just sing a couple bars for us?
No.
Where's your guitar?
Waterloo. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna have
I believe
to
they say Waterloo Baby or something. I don't remember.
I don't know it, but I did see the play Mamma Mia. Did you see that? That was ABBA, right?
Yeah. That's.
I don't remember Waterloo though.
No.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all right, I let you down.
So we're talking social media, and we're talking the amazing softwares that are out there to manage your social media.
To manage your social media, which is more important than it sounds of just managing it, because some of the biggest social media failures are when people do something ad hoc, right? They're adding content just kind of off the cuff. It's like, and you and I've come across this all the time. It's like, I got to post something on social. I've got 5 social, right? I've got YouTube, I've got Facebook, I've got Instagram, I've got LinkedIn. And so what do? They just quickly think of some posts and they post some stuff. There's no rhyme or reason. Hey, there's no rhythm and tempo either.
Yeah.
Which we talk about in another podcast. And so that's a common thing. So this study that I referenced, by the way, we're getting all academic today. This study that I referenced was 108 social media professionals that manage marketing. It was a qualitative study, and they eliminated about 8. So it was 100 of them. And this is what, this is the bulk of where the mistakes came. Inadequate research, weak evaluation or monitoring of the methods, and then poorly designed campaigns. And the one I just said is an ad hoc approach. So you can get rid of those, Josh. You can overcome all of those by having a tool, because it forces you to, one, not be ad hoc. You put stuff out. It will show you the results of what's going on. And so it helps you get there. So with that said, I wanted to talk about some of the challenges we had with social media marketing, and then we're going to touch on 3 tools that I think the both of us, we like and dislike a number of different things. So what's some of the challenges for social media marketing? Content, right?
Yeah.
Clarifying the audience. We'll go into these. Clarifying the message, and then distilling the message. So real quick, Josh, content. Talk to me about social media content.
Yeah, well, good content, bad content. I mean, there's
no content.
A lot of advertising these days is like, people are using it for advertising and people aren't falling for it. It's a billboard. I call it junk mail. You're sending instead of junk mail postcards, you're putting junk mail out. You do a post and you're like, and people are like, that's not what social media is for. So they're actually angry. It actually has a negative effect. But then content, they want genuine content. They really want to know about you. That's what social media was for. And is it shareable? Is it engageable? Does somebody want to share it? Is it something, and sometimes people are just going for the virality, and they think everything they post should be viral, and they don't realize it doesn't work that way. There's algorithms working against you.
One of the things to help get there for it, how'd you term it? Something engaging, right? Because that's the key. Is you want to clarify your audience, right?
Yeah.
And you and I have come across this all the time. A business has 12 services. They constantly try and craft every outbound messaging, whether it's an email or a social post, to encompass everything. And it's like, you know what? Talk about one aspect of one service, because each service is going to have multiple aspects and interesting points. So clarify, I jumped ahead here. Clarify your message of what it's going to be, and that then will allow you to target the correct audience for who that message belongs to.
Yeah, is it something too? I'm always talking about engagement, and it's like, does this evoke a response? Emotion compels action. Is there something in there that someone cares about? Or do you go, 20% off today at 20% off?
Right, emotion compels action. You and I try and do it all the time.
Yeah.
But an emotional appeal is not going to appeal to everyone. So, just step back and say, you know what, I'm going to develop some content. I'm going to go after this one particular niche of one particular thing. Can I use an example from a niche that we do a lot of work in, the dental industry? So if you have a dental industry, right, and they don't want to post that we do all these 10 services, you know what? Don't even post that we do Invisalign. Say, hey, we do Invisalign now for kids 13 to 18 to help them with the stigma of having braces, right? Just do that. And then, move on to another one. And so, Josh, with that, how do we use the 3 tools, eClincher, Zoho Social, and Hootsuite to take care of these?
Well, what's awesome about them is, one, you can be proactive and you can schedule out some people schedule a week ahead. Some people schedule a month ahead. Some people schedule, 6 months, a year ahead.
What have you found works best?
For me, I try to do the month. I try to, and I usually tend to be 2 weeks, 2 weeks ahead.
So I want to touch on that for a minute. So why do we break things down, right? This is what we do. We're like, let's do a month ahead, or let's do 3 months ahead.
Yeah.
Well, I found a month is too short.
Yeah.
But 3 months is too long. But we never say let's do 2 months. And that's what I think works for me.
Yeah, why is it 30, 60, 90 and we go 30, 90? We never say 60. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's funny you say that, but and I always tend to think I'm going to do better than I did last. So I'm always wanting, I'll do my long-term goals. Like if I have a long-term goal, so I'll do my clients' posts for here's the 12 posts for the next 2 months that are important for dates, holidays, blah, blah, blah. But if I see something getting traction, then it throws everything off, or a holiday I didn't think about, or something I thought was really funny or might be viral. We had a client that they were really into World Cup soccer, and I didn't know that. And all of a sudden they were talking about it, and I'm like, well, this is really personal to you, and it's more in the U.S. It's more of a niche market, than football is. So American football. Whoa, I started a debate with that one, but so I did a whole campaign on it, and it was really successful. So it was kind of so again, I try to be nimble enough. But again, when you're managing, 5 different properties, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. I mean, there's so many different social medias. That's another thing too. These softwares, because of the analytics, you might be posting on all of them. And after a month, by the way, they track all the analytics in one place. They track all of your messaging. And most important, did you hear me? The messaging in one place. One of the biggest challenges I see for clients is they're like, I have to log into Facebook and check if anybody talked to me. I have to log into Instagram. All of that is a time suck. Whereas if you have one dashboard that you can go to and see it all and communicate in the proper voice and the proper account and the proper thing in one place, it just saves you. I mean, it literally takes you. It also makes you think nobody's talking to you, because you're like, wow, I got this done in 20 minutes. It used to take me 4 hours.
Which software are you going to tell me to use?
Honestly, right now, my preferred choice is, I'm going to go with eClincher. It wasn't a household name when I got it. Again, I did a ton of research, and I'll admit I was on a budget. It was one of the least expensive ones at the time, and it had the tools I need. It didn't have everything, but it had the tools I needed. A lot of people were trying to tell me to go with Hootsuite, and at the time I just couldn't afford it. And it looked too robust for my needs at the time. It had a lot more functionality that I did not need. And by the way, in the meantime, all these young tech companies, they add it. If you don't have it when you get it, a lot of times. So a lot of those features that it didn't have at the time, it now currently has. So I was pleased with that decision. But Zoho Social is another one that I'm really excited about, that we're starting to work with in 2023. And again, it had tough shoes to fill because I got so used, again, how you get married to one, it's like you get married to it. Now I'm seeing all the features it has and the integrations with other products I'm using and the dashboard functionality, and it ties into a lot of other softwares I'm using in the Zoho space. So for me, that's going to be more important. Whereas an influencer that's just getting started, or an influencer that's maybe a year or two, I'd probably still point them at eClincher. If it was an agency with the budget and all they did was social media, I'd point them at Hootsuite. There are custom tailored things that's how I would recommend them. So if you came to me and said you were an agency and all you were doing were social media content for people, I'd say go with Hootsuite. If you were a new influencer coming to me, I'd be saying eClincher. If you were looking for a robust CRM where you wanted everything in one place in its own ecosphere, I was going to tell you go with Zoho. And that's just me. So see, there's 3 solutions that I believe can solve 3 people's problems. So how do you choose? In
an earlier conversation, you were saying, I hired someone to make a decision for me because I get overwhelmed with this. So you didn't make a decision for anybody. And I get it because you can't. But
no,
I want to give
I would. Like I said, if somebody was, yeah.
So you gave a couple examples of an influencer and of an agency. There's quite a bit between there, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm going to say Zoho Social, right? Yep. And there's a reason for that. It's inexpensive. Their reviews, by the way, are stellar. They tend to get higher reviews than eClincher and Hootsuite. And so, why would I do that? Well, one is using it, right? When we use it every day, we use it and we update every 2 months, right? Because we're every 2 months now. It's friendly and it's easy. So the other thing about Zoho that I like, aside from its usability and it's affordable, is that you will start integrating and using more software if you're already not. And Zoho has room for you to grow. And one of the things you and I complain a lot about, and Wix I think is one of the biggest culprits, is I'm always adding a feature.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm confused. I don't even know which one. I'm adding this, I'm adding that. Then I'm buying the whole package. Well, the whole package has this limitation, and then I go over that, and it has some other limitation, and it's very frustrating. It's very expensive. Zoho has I can't remember, you and I did this, 40 something apps. One of them is Zoho Social. They have a CRM. They have messaging and meeting. They have all these different things, course development. So you quickly get to the point where you just get Zoho 1, and it covers every single thing. There's no more upselling, no more limitations of this or that, and it covers everything. And it's the price point is really reasonable. And it's probably less than when you start adding a bunch of users for, Hootsuite or something. Anyway, so that's why I would go Zoho Social because I think it's inexpensive. You can grow and it's user friendly. So a couple of things, Josh, about these 3 pieces of software is if you list all the things that you may need. Let me just look at some of the list. Analytics, auto publishing, brand tracking, so you can have, track different brands you might work with, content management, customer engagement, right? So you can engage with the client right through there and not go through their social. It's to the point they all have it. So you mentioned earlier, I didn't want this because they didn't have that. They're kind of all there right now. You look at all this long list, it's all matching checkbox. They all have it in every column. So I think then it gives us the freedom to say, well, what's best, for my business? And I would personally really recommend people do something that you're comfortable in, because if you're not and you struggle, you're going to tend to I'll do it tomorrow kind of thing, because you don't want to do it. And so I've been real happy with Zoho Social on that aspect.
Yeah. One of the things too is with a lot of these softwares, I tell people look at the aesthetic of it, because it'll bother you. Does that make sense? Do you know?
No, that's part of what I'm saying. Absolutely.
It's so funny how sometimes someone will just be like, I don't like that software because I don't like the way it looks. They'll have all the same functionality as another one, be less expensive. It just doesn't feel right to you.
Yeah, the UI is important. You ever use an app that you like what it offers for you, but the setup is so bad, but like you get mad. Do you ever use IMDb?
Oh, yes, yeah.
I use it all the time, right? And this annoys me. Is like when you want to search for something, you got to go down to the bottom of the app, click the search icon, the magnifying glass, and then you got to type in what you're searching for up at the top. And then so you search for something, and then when the results come in, you click on it. But then you want to go back to search. You got to either go back to the bottom, and you're constantly going up to the top and bottom, right? I'm not talking like I'm traveling around the world, but I find it annoying as hell.
It's so funny. You just reminded me that I need to, we're heading into the new year and we're talking about, canceling some subscriptions to the millions of things we have that we need to, that we've been putting off. And IMBD Pro is one of those things I see come up on my thing all the time. And I go,
oh, so you're paying for it?
Why do I have that? Why do I have that? Why do I have that? And I remember why I have it.
I want to know because I don't know.
I'm the writer-director of the TV show Last Week at the Auction.
Hey, that's right. Yeah.
So I did it as a thing.
I want to look it up. I want to look it up.
So you have writing credits.
You have a bio?
Yeah, and it was funny because I don't think Josh D. Levine was available. I had to be Joshua. I don't even remember what it was. It was something crazy.
I will tell you, Josh. Like you and I've known each other for years, and your name, I don't know what it is. Like one of the most popular names on the planet.
I know.
You search for Josh Levine, and you get every possible thing that you want.
I'm supposed to be a lawyer and a doctor. And
First, we talked about this study that focused on failures of social media marketing failures. And so I want to point out a couple things specifically. You said if you got to like it, you got to feel comfortable in it. If you're not, you're gonna be closer to jumping into one of those failure buckets, such as, oh, I did this ad hoc, I didn't really think through, because you're less comfortable in there. You're not going to be, going in there as much. Another one is a poorly designed campaign. Well, what exactly is your campaign? Did you write it out on paper? Great, you did it. This is what you're going to do for week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you go to put it in a poorly designed piece of software or something that irritates you. Well, you're going to have some failure points on that. And so you have to acknowledge that social media marketing is, you can't get away from it, right? It's important. You got to do it, right? But why do it? Why do it if you're not going to try and be successful at it? So look into one of these softwares or reach out and let us know if you have any questions, because we'd be happy to jump on actually, I was going to say a Google Meet, but we're transitioning because we've been transitioning to Zoho. So, don't fall into the bucket of social media marketing failure. Get a piece of software or get a new piece of software and plan ahead and use that software for what it's intended.
And as Dean Batson always says, don't fall in that bucket.
Don't fall in that bucket. I say it all the time. Right? We have one. Okay, awesome. That was great, Josh.
All right.